and thy daughters shall be given to another people.
He said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What's that other people? The other nation. The so-called white man, the so-called Chinese man, the so-called Arabic man. Then you also got to think about the sex trafficking that's going on, or the organ harvesting that's going on. Where they take random people coming up missing. Nobody can find them. Nobody can identify them. Happened to Kanika Jenkins in Chicago like a couple of years ago. I went to church before. Y'all been to church before? So this the same image that y'all learned and y'all seen in church. So we finna do a process of elimination. So we finna do a process of elimination of these two photos right here. Focus on these two right here. So bring me that in Revelation chapter 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him.
So we about to reveal what Christ actually looks like. That's what it means. That's the root word of revelation, to reveal. So read that again.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him.
So we're revealing Jesus Christ according to what John the Revelator seen. Jump to verse 14. Get right to the point.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So it says his head and his hairs were white like wool. So the hair on his head and the hair on his face was white like wool. Whether you see white woolly hair,
Bring it out, huh?
The texture of his hair was woolly. So you don't see it between these two photos. So this would be white woolly hair. What type of people have this type of hair, this texture of hair? Right here, that you see right here. Say it again. You don't know? Touch your hair. You can't touch yours, you got a do-rag on. But touch your hair, touch your hair. That's the so-called African American hair. Right. We have the woolly hair, woolly textured hair. So when he talks about, when he goes into the texture of his hair, you can automatically tell that was a black man, and this image is false. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because this, you don't see white man with woolly hair. You see long, stringy hair. You see blue eyes. You see, what do they call it? Characteristics of a white man. Read on.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So now, you got one strike against it. You got the woolly hair, not woolly hair. So that's one strike against this man. So then it says red eyes. It says eyes
his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So it said his eyes was a flame of fire. What color is fire? Red. So does this man have red eyes, or does this man have red eyes? So that's strike two against this man. So it's showing you what Jesus Christ actually looks like. You see what I'm saying? He's not anything remotely near this man, but he's more closer to this man. That would make him more closer to you, correct? Because you look closer to this man and not this man. Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
He said, and his feet was like unto fine brass. Anybody know what color brass is? B-R-A-S-S. You ever seen a penny? What color is a penny?
I ain't got no
brown. So does this man have brown skin? This man, does he have brown skin? So brown skin. Then read that again.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So he made a comparison between how dark this man was. He said he was, read it again.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
So his feet was like unto fine brass, and then he said as if. So he's making a comparison. Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if they burned in a furnace. So the comparison is as if his feet had burned in a furnace. So he was a dark-skinned black man. That's what you would call him today, a black man. If he was walking the earth today, he would be a so-called black man. But why do they put this image up? If this is the true image of Christ, why do they put this image up? We don't know. So when somebody is to come and take your heritage, the first thing they would do. How you doing, sis? How you doing? What's your name? Tiffany. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Why would they change the image of Christ from this to look like this? Because the young brothers say they don't know. People try to make their own God. Okay. Okay. What about you, Tiffany? What's your answer?
I think they lied to deceive us.
Why would they want to do that?
Because they want us to feel like that we're less than them. So this is what they put out, and the things things that go along with that to follow. But yeah, that's what I think.
So you said to deceive us.
Yeah.
You actually correct. You correct too. They put these images in place because when they took us on slave ships into slavery and brought us over to this land and said that we couldn't read for hundreds of years or write for hundreds of years, they set up their own images to try to deceive us and take us away from what connected us, what gave us our governance or our laws of the land on how we live. So we're going to get into that. Deuteronomy 28 verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
So this is why I was given into their hands to be able to do that. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Read that from the top again.
But it shall come to pass.
So the Most High used Moses to basically speak and to free the children of Israel. As you understand the chapter Exodus, the book of Exodus, he used Moses as a vessel to free the children of Israel. So this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel, the same words that the Most High gave unto him. He said, read it again.
But it shall come to pass.
So he said, but it shall come to pass, meaning it will happen. This is a future prophecy. Because this didn't happen in the time that he brought it out. So this is future prophecy. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans didn't listen to the words, which is the Bible, of the Most High God, or the voice of the Most High God, then certain things would come upon them. Read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if we didn't listen to it and do what the Most High told us to do, a lot of curses will come upon us. So let's see what some of those curses are. You remember your question, correct? Okay. So let's see what some of those curses are. Same thing for y'all. What's y'all name again? Start with you. Who?
Yep, right here.
Hello, Ron. What's your name? Lizelle.
Doors open
Ron
at 2.
Lizelle. Tavon. What's your name? Matthew. Matthew. Okay, so listen up. So these are one of the curses that identifies as the people. Verse 16. Read.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So he said, cursed shall we be in the city. You look around Milwaukee, what's going on right now? It's a bunch of murder. It's a bunch of theft. It's a bunch of covetousness that's ruling throughout the land. It's a bunch of broken homes. So the Lord said that this would be a curse upon the Israelites. Read.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
He said that cursed will we be in the field. You look at these signs right here. You see our people picking cotton. You see them getting whipped. You see them being sold on auction blocks. The Lord said, cursed shall we be in the field, even today in our work field. What is your occupation, if you don't mind me asking? You're a chef. And you cut grass. So you work 2 jobs. Is that to maintain or just so you can have extra money?
You been following us?
It's a gift God gave you.
No.
Okay.
First time you
So
heard this?
we working 9 to 5s in our fields of work, correct? Nine times
The
out
other
of
guy
10,
that was up there.
first hired. I mean, last hired, first fired. Correct. So the Lord said these things will be a curse upon us. And then even in those fields, we getting the bottom end of the barrel when it comes to being paid or the wages. The Lord said this will be a curse upon His chosen, which is the Israelites, which you see over there, the 12 tribes you see over there, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He said this will be a curse upon them. Go to verse 46. And this is the reason why. Jump to verse 46. Y'all understand? Y'all understand that these things are curses upon our people? It's not a way of life. Jump to verse 46. And this is the reason why.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So he said the curses, that's the day. He said that would be upon us for a sign. What is these signs set up for? Like right here. Silver Spring and, what is it, 60th Street. What is that for? To let us know where we at. It's like a landmark, AutoZone. Why would they have a sign? To let you know where they at. So the same thing the Most High said, read it again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So these curses will be upon us, our people, for a sign. Take your mother for example, or your dad. When they grew up, was they in a condition like this? You don't think they was in a condition like this? So the Most High said this happened generation after generation. So he said these curses shall be upon us for a sign. Read.
And for a wonder.
And for a wonder. We wondering why we're in these conditions. We're wondering why we're being plagued by gun violence, or why we're being plagued by murders as we walk outside, drug dealing on our corner, broken homes, women that just can't get right. He said these things will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. Read.
And upon thy seed forever.
So that's that generational thing. Upon thy seed forever. So until we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and these things will plague our communities. These are the conditions that we will live in. Jump to 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So this is something else that's going on in our communities. He said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Back then, it was slavery. It was being auctioned off. You might spare a child on your certain plantation, but then the master got the right to take your child away and give him to another plantation. Now you bring it up to today, you have the different organizations like DCFS or CPS that'll take your kids away. Even if it was an incident in Texas where they took the child from the mother as soon as she gave birth to him. But they wouldn't allow the woman to walk outside of the hospital without giving her baby up to them. Because they deem that you are unresponsible and you can't have your child. You can't take care of your child. The Lord said this. Go back to 32, read from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people.
He said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What's that other people? The other nation. The so-called white men, the so-called Chinese men, the so-called Arabic men. Then you also got to think about the sex trafficking that's going on. Or the organ harvesting that's going on. Where they take random people coming up missing. Nobody can find them. Nobody can identify them. Happened to Kanika Jenkins in Chicago like a couple of years ago. Nobody still figured out what happened to her. But she was found with a shoe off, certain organs missing. Nobody knows what happened to her. Kendrick Johnson in Georgia, the little boy who got rolled up in the mats that they have at the school. He said these things will happen to us because we will be cursed as a people for not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So then what else would happen? Jump to verse 37. So hold on. So I want to show y'all something. You say your name is Aaron, Lizelle. What's your name again? Stephon. Tavon. So, what's your last name? What's your last name? Bryce. Birch. Who? Stevens. So why do y'all all have different last names, but you can look at each other and say, see that y'all the same people? What's your last name? Don't mind me asking. Matthew. What's your last name? Lindsay. Well, why is all our last names different, but we appear to be the same people? Why is our last names different? That too was a curse put upon us for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. It goes deep, but we don't think about these things. But remember in verse 46, it said that these signs will be upon us for read verse 46 again.
This, verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder.
So remember, he said that these curses will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. They will make us wonder why we're going through these things. There will be a sign unto us to show us who we really are. So now, we're going to go to verse 37 to show you guys why your name might be one, your last name might be another name, your last name might be another name, and how we got divided during this. Read.
Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So the Lord said that we, as a people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, will become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. So an astonishment is like, you look at a group of people. God called you a chosen group of people, right? So, and he called you special. But when another nation look upon you and they see that your certain actions or behaviors don't live up to that, that's an astonishment to them. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord said you should be astonishment. Read on.
A proverb.
He said a proverb. So a proverb is a wise saying. You ever want cheap labor, just go find a Mexican. Or you want to hide anything from a nigga, put it in a book. That's a wise saying. Do you think that it's true? It's a stereotype in a way. Do you believe that that's true? Not necessarily. It doesn't it doesn't apply to all of us. From a nigga, put it in a book.
You want me to hit him with the snitch?
So he said, if you want to hide anything, that's a common thing. I heard that growing up. I'm only 30, so I heard that growing up in my lifetime. We don't call each other niggas because that's not who we are. When we come into this truth and we understand who we are, we put away things that we learned in the world. But the Lord, so that's a proverb. Certain wise sayings or stereotypes that they put upon us. Read.
And a byword.
So a byword is being called, let me get through it. So a byword is being called anything outside of your God-given name. Remember growing up when they'd be like, they call me everything but a child of God. But right now you're being called everything but a child of God because the Lord calls you Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, so on and so forth. But the world calls us African Americans, black, West Indians, Jamaicans, Haitians, so on and so forth. The Lord never called you that. You won't find that in the Bible. So a byword is anything outside of that, spit, nigga, so on and so forth. That's not what we are. The Most High calls us those 12 tribes over there. Read.
And among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So this isn't just happening in America. Or this isn't just happening in South America, Mexico, so on and so forth. This is happening all across the world because the Most High scattered us into the four corners of the earth. And he said wherever you go, you will be subject to these curses.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children